Hey, everybody, this is Mark Saunders with Saunders HOA Management. Thanks for checking out our video today. So, we have started taking over more and more communities in the Winston-Salem, North Carolina area. I've been doing property management since 2005, but we've started doing more and more HOA management. And a couple years ago, when we signed up our very first community, it's about 57 townhouse units here in Winston-Salem. We came across a major issue in that community's insurance, and it had to do with the HOA was actually covering the exterior of the building, but we found out the HOA company did not have the right amount of insurance to cover it. And I kind of thought that might be just a one-off issue with this community. But as we have signed up more and more neighborhoods and communities, we found this is a pretty common issue. We actually have two new communities that we're onboarding here at Saunders HOA Management, and they have this exact same issue with their insurance. It's kind of scary. So I thought, I'm always big on doing education content for communities and everything. So I thought I would go to my good friend, Van Almond. He is a local real estate insurance broker in Winston-Salem here. So let me bring Van on, and we're going to talk about this issue that we kind of came across together. So Van, tell everybody who you are and who you work with.
Hey, good morning. My name's Van Almond. I'm with Peak Insurance Group. We're a proud partner of High Street Insurance Partners. I've been doing insurance now for about 21 years, thus the gray hair and thinning. But thank you for having me, Mark.
Yeah, so obviously you've done a lot of insurance with us through my different companies with Saunders Realty, Saunders HOA Management and all. And we actually came across this issue with one of our first neighborhoods that we signed up. And it has to do with townhomes, usually connected properties. The HOA in their bylaws state they maintain the exterior of the building, which would be the shingles or the roof, shingles, the siding, and all of that. And then the homeowners policies for the townhomes cover the inside, correct?
That's,
And yeah. And the issue we ran into, kind of fill everybody in what we found at that first neighborhood, but now what we're finding at a lot of them throughout town.
well, it's so confusing, as you
Yeah.
just said. I mean, Mark, you touched on a couple different things. As hey, here's exterior, but who's doing the rebuild for some of the windows or the doors or the HVAC systems that are outside. So the bylaws are so important. So the board's working with their attorneys, making sure whether it's an HOA association or a condo association, being as clear and precise of who's going to cover what is going to make it so much easier for the unit owner to be able to get the proper insurance, because in the event of a claim, that adjuster is going to the bylaws.
Going to the bylaws.
So
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's
that's so with
something.
that scenario, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so something, I mean, what we have found out when we take over new communities, some of these bylaws might as well be written in German
That's
because
right.
it's so hard to figure out. We actually, one thing that we do, send them to an attorney to review them and kind of tell us what we're looking at. But if there's a claim, let's say the HOA covers the exterior, the roof and the siding, and there's a tree falls and goes through the roof. Kind of walk us through it. What's a claim adjuster going to look at in that?
Well, that if the association's master policy is covering the external, like you said, the roof, the siding, then their master policy is paying for the exterior damage. Any water damage or interior damage would be on the unit's owner's policy. And, if it's a condo and it's reconstruction from the walls in, which is the most common condo policy, then, they're going to have their personal property coverage, they're going to have the liability coverage, and that improvements and embetterments, policy, that coverage that they have. If it's an HO3 policy, then whatever's lacking on the master policy, then that homeowner's policy will pick up because it's got the exterior and interior coverage.
Yep. Yep. So very important, know who's covering what. So if a homeowner has the interior kind of condo coverage, which I've always said inside wall to inside wall on a
Yep.
condo coverage, a limb falls, goes through the roof, then what you're saying, possibly every situation could be a little bit different. The HOA, the homeowners association policy, should cover that roof repair.
Yep.
And the homeowner's policy is going to make the homeowner good on the inside of the unit, correct?
Yeah. So if there was a ceiling fan right where that tree limb came through and knocked that down into their cabinets and did damage to their hardwood floors, then that condo policy, that coverage would repair all that damage and then their personal property.
Yeah. So, but some of the things that we're finding as the management company, when we take on a new association, a new community, we actually go through the budget, we look at everything. We're actually finding that a lot of these HOAs are severely undercovered.
Yeah, they're thinking they have exterior coverage when they're just covering, like what we saw in that very first issue you brought up, was it was just some outdoor signage, or a mailbox area. Then that was their exterior, common ground coverage that they thought they had. And there was quite a few gaps in coverage.
So in that situation, a tree limb falls, goes through the roof, then the homeowner's policy could come in and fix it. But the HOA could be looking at an issue where that policy comes back and what's it called? Subrogation. I never can say it right. Subrogation. Yep. They can go back on the homeowner's policy, the HOA's policy.
Master policy.
Correct. And in that neighborhood, I think they had something crazy like $5,000 worth of coverage or something. And you could be looking at a $20,000. Actually, we just replaced some roofs there. It was about $30,000 that that association would have been on the hook for with no insurance coverage, right? Possibly.
Exactly. Because that if that was a condo unit that the tree fell through, then they had no coverage for the roof. They're just covering the inside, and they wouldn't. Each condo policy should have some exterior coverage, but how much? And not only is it confusing to the person buying the insurance, but also for us agents sometimes trying to read it because we're not attorneys.
Yeah.
So having this as clear as possible is, very, very good for all parties.
Yeah. So that first neighborhood that we did, we actually had to go in and change the bylaws, get them updated to make sure that it was crystal clear. The HOA covers the exterior only, and the homeowners, property owners, covers the inside. And we had to change them. We had to get them a new policy. You actually helped with that.
Yes,
so
sir.
That whole community now, their insurance went to about $18,000 a year. But now
their homeowners policies are now condo, and some of them are a little less than what they were paying. I've written a few of the residents.
Yeah.
And then we're just doing the person.
Yeah, and that was about a year process to get the bylaws and everything updated and changed.
Right.
It has to go to the vote. We kind of thought this was a one-off issue, but now we've picked up, I think, 2 more neighborhoods since then, and they're in the exact same situation. And let's talk about this. And one other thing I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on. When we're talking about insurance, we're always looking at worst-case scenarios, right? What if the homeowner's policy only covers the exterior? Or let's just say let's go back to the example we were before, where they really didn't even have any coverage on the exterior. And what if that homeowner, the condo policy or the townhome owner, did not pay their insurance and don't have any insurance, right? Because it's very hard for us to keep up with. And let's say, worst case scenario, the place burns down, right? What are we looking at then if the homeowners association doesn't have the coverage there?
I would probably say a lawsuit to the board of that association, right?
It would be.
That has to be every property manager's worst fear, is that, okay, we've got these units. Everybody's supposed to have insurance. Somebody doesn't have a mortgage. There's no insurance requirements. All of a sudden there's a fire and they don't want to rebuild. Now you've got this empty shell, right?
Yeah.
But having what you did with that one association that had the 18,000 coverage, you eliminated that fear for everybody. Now, we've got the proper coverage to rebuild, and then the individual unit owners can buy their condo policies. If they don't want to rebuild their inside, at least you've got the shell out side, it's complete. There's no gaps or holes or liability issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the lawsuit, back to your question, the lawsuit is going to be, that's where it's going to happen. Somebody's going to sue the board members.
Yeah, because there's going to be a huge hole in the neighborhood, which would affect everyone else's property value.
That's right. Resale, liability issues, structural, the opposing units, the sides.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, I just wanted us to make this quick video and talk about it. To me, this is a huge issue for associations. And if you're living in a neighborhood that has townhomes or connected units, multifamily or just connected units with a common wall, these are questions homeowners should be asking their board or management company. Don't you think? They need to know how to unpack this.
I can see this video being a 1, a 2, a 3 as we dive deeper into this. And, I would love to come back on with like Jesse Miller, our vice president of commercial, to really, go streamline into, okay, here's an HOA association coverages. Here's the condo association. And then my expertise is to come in on the personal side for the unit owners. Yeah. And we really make a great video string about this.
Yeah. This is something I've been doing real estate since 2005. You know my background. I did single family property.
That's right.
I never heard of this kind of an issue. And I'm afraid, we're now managing going on 11 communities. And out of that 11, we found this 3 or 4 times.
And out of those, you have improved each one of those properties. But I hate to use this word. I mean, you stumbled into a huge gap of coverages with a lot of properties and for the unit owners. Yeah,
this would keep me up at night if I owned in that community and something could happen, because you never know if your neighbor next door has insurance in place or something. So
yes, sir.
I'm afraid this is a much bigger issue than what I thought to start with. Okay, this was a one-off. No, we're looking at about 30% to 40% of the communities we brought in have this issue, and then we're trying to unpack it. So, Van, thank you for your time. How can people get in touch with you if they want to get their insurance looked at?
I'm here local in Winston. We write all across North Carolina. I'm also licensed in Tennessee, Virginia, South Carolina, Louisiana, and we write in Georgia. But 336-773-1322 or van@peakgroup.insure, and nothing goes behind insure.
All right.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Thanks, Van. See you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.